Welcome to the Fieldhouse at Peabody Veterans Memorial High School, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bernard Parisi, brought to you live by Peabody TV as the Peabody volleyball team here at the high school will take on the visiting rival Winthrop Vikings. However, before we get to the main festivities at hand, we have a little pregame special for you. It is senior night here today in Peabody as the Tanners will honor the young women who have dedicated their lives to the Peabody athletics program, and we'll take you down to courtside as Coach Lisa Keene has a presentation in just a moment.
Tonight we honor our seniors and all their accomplishments, and on this senior night we are especially thankful to the administration, school committee, and mayor for allowing us to have a season. We would like to begin by recognizing the seniors from Winthrop and wish them success in their future endeavors after graduation. The Winthrop team is coached by Rachel DeSolio and Lauren Costigan, and Captain Caroline Earle, Captain Carolyn Kinsella, Edania Barbarisi, Jonah Kokaneshi, and Katie Gagnon. In 2017, the class of 2021 came in as young freshmen, stepped into the field house on a hot August morning, knee pads ready, nervous but excited. They were introduced to the varsity seniors, who were the leaders of the team, and were told if you needed anything, that they were there for you, whether it be school or volleyball. Over the next 4 years, these female athletes would practice and compete while juggling school and work. They experienced wins and losses and long bus rides. They also experienced the roller coaster of emotions this fall, not knowing if they were ever going to step on the court. I'm gonna cry. Through everything, they have stayed strong and dependable, have become the leaders of the team, and those young freshmen back in 2017 are now beautiful, talented senior student athletes. It is with pride and happiness that we honor them tonight. So, would Maggie Benya's parents come down? We have Maggie Benya and her parent, Elda, and brother Kevy. And when the parents are together with their athlete, they can take their masks off. Next up is Maggie Brennan and her parents, Gail and Jamie. I lost the piece of Christine and Brian. Maria Chenard, and Christine, Brian, and Carly. Sophia, is your mom Eva or Ava? Eva. Destiny Callisto and her parent, Molly. Sophia and Thelma Hollingshed and their mother, Eva. Lily Ryan and her parents, Chantel and Patrick, and brother Michael. And Samantha Silva with her parents Denise and Brian and Sydney's sister Courtney. Thank you, parents, for 4 years of fun. Appreciate it.
Welcome back, as that was a very nice presentation by Coach Lisa Keene of the Peabody Tanners, and we are just moments away from the opening tip as the Peabody Tanners take on their longtime NEC rival, the Winthrop Vikings, a rivalry that extends to not only just on the court here, but into every area of Peabody High School sports. We'll get into the rivalry after the first match a little bit, detailing some of the history between these two teams. Until then, the Tanners come in 5-3 on the game. They are coming off of, I believe, a win versus Marblehead earlier this week in 3 straight sets. They are riding high after what can only be described as, well, a slow start. I believe they started off, I think, 1-3 on the year, and ever since then, if I'm not mistaken, they have rattled off 4 consecutive game victories. The Winthrop Vikings. Fair warning to the Winthrop fans, I do not have a roster for the team at the moment and also do not know the record, so if someone can somehow, some way, find a way to get that information to me in between matches, that would be greatly appreciated, and I'll hopefully get the names right as the game goes along. Have a few name pronunciation corrections for the Peabody fans at home, so don't worry, I won't butcher any of the girls' names tonight as I have the past 2 games I've announced, as the Tanners are taking the court. Starting 6 are out. Back on the serve for the Tanners, Maria Chenard. Takes a quick pose for a picture from the stands, and she's getting ready for the opening tip-off. Tanners Viking action coming your way in just a few seconds. Best of 5 series is about to be underway. So as I remind everyone before these games, my knowledge of the terminology is somewhat limited, so bear with me here. Winthrop playing it patiently, serves it over. Going for the spike, kills it home, and it touched a Winthrop player. Tanners lead 1-0 first. So back on the serve, Chenard will get it again. Flanked on the court by Destiny Callisto, Sophia Hollingshed. Sam Silva touches the net, comes down on Winthrop's side, and it's 2-0. So one of the Betancourts, Abby, is out on the court, one of that dynamic duo that has really led this team through the season so far, that of Abby and Isabel Betancourt. Winthrop just trying to find a little bit of rhythm. Overhand, 2-hand serve over, but it's Tanner Point. The official blows his whistle. Tanners are rolling with 3 consecutive to start the game. Chenard back on the serve again. Winthrop trying to keep it alive, and no, they cannot. 4-0. Just kind of that ball takes one weird bounce, and it's lights out. So good to see that some of the fans have made their way into the field house tonight. The parents are here. I'm not sure if it's just home fans at the moment and trying to maybe misjudged it a little bit, didn't put enough on the bump, and it falls down on her own side of the net, and it is 5-0 Tanners. So I'm not sure if opposing fans are being allowed in, but if they are, if they watch this game later, welcome. We're happy to have you. And it falls down. Desperation dive by number 9 of Winthrop to try to keep it alive. Cannot. 6-0 Tanners are leading early. High serve, overhands. Winthrop taking their time, just trying to get a little momentum. And if it hadn't touched the net, it probably would have been played by Hollingshed, but it tipped the net, got just enough of a little bit of misdirection on it. The diving Hollingshed couldn't get it, so Winthrop is at long last on the board. It's 6-1, and they'll have their first chance to serve. Overhand jump serve, nice serve, but barely kept off the cord, but goes over to the Tanner bench, and it's 6-2. Played up and over, nice by, in the backcourt was Chenard. Gentle tip over, just trying to catch him off guard, nearly did. Played up. Betancourt outside, played in, goes out of bounds. Tanners 7, Winthrop 2. These games go to best at 25, best of 5 match. If you notice my voice is kind of fluctuating, it's because, you know, when it's loud, I can be loud and everything echoes in this rink, so it gets eerily quiet at the drop of a hat, so I don't want to be necessarily heard throughout the whole court. As this one goes served out, and it's 8-2. Tanners will get the serve. So we'd like to thank you on behalf of Peabody TV, everyone, for tuning in, whether you're from Peabody or Winthrop, Mass. We appreciate you tuning in to watch the games. Played up and yeah, I got to applaud the effort of the Winthrop Vikings, desperately trying to keep it alive. They nearly did, just came up short. We get a timeout on Winthrop's bench, just maybe trying to strategize, get a little momentum swinging back their way. We'll be back in just a moment as the clock shows 50 seconds on the timeout. So I'm going to step away for a moment, and we'll be right back. And we're back with 20 seconds to go on the timeout clock. The Tanners have retaken the court. Here come the Vikings. You can only imagine what the coach of the Vikings, I don't really know how the strategy for what they're going to do to try to get back into this one. They're already down big early. And whatever stratagem, they didn't really get a chance to implement that new strategy because it goes off the hands of a Viking player, number 5, and goes out of bounds. Nice serve up by Maggie Brennan, but kept alive by the Vikes. Over behind the back overhand serve. Hits the net, 11-2 Tanners. So this is actually the second straight senior night that I've been at. I was out in Linfield last night for the Linfield Pioneers. I was filming that for them, and this one can't be kept alive. Racing for it, a one-handed bump, came up with nothing. 12-2 Tanners leading. What has been a trend as of late. Line, hard serve, and number 5 of Winthrop has nothing to answer for it. Goes out of bounds. Nice hard serve by Brennan. Overhand serve. This one kind of flutters a little bit. Brennan, the server, gets it right back. Over side. Bumped up by Winthrop, keeping it alive, cross court, gently at the net, and nice defense by Betancourt and Hollingshed at the net. Hard serve, but an equally hard return. Goes out of bounds. 15-2. The floodgates are open. Played up, Winthrop, behind, over the head, excuse me. Hollingshed kept alive by 5 of Winthrop to 3. Nice keep in. Some sustained action at long last on both sides. Kept alive by Betancourt. Betancourt plays it over. Both teams playing very sound games right now in this set. Played over, still kept alive. Hard, barely squeaks over the out-of-bounds line. It's 16-2. Unbelievable action in that serve on both sides of the net. Hard serve, and it goes out of bounds after it was tipped by a Winthrop player, 17-2. Those line drive hard serves by Brennan are really playing to the Tanners as kept alive. And miscommunication between Brennan and Callisto as it falls down, not out of bounds, but in play. So the Vikings finally get a point. It's 17-3. As it's Winthrop's serve after what seems like an eternity since they last served. Lofting serve. And Hollingshed was, I think she was playing her assignment. She was rushing out of position to move over to the side of the net, trying to play it up. However, falls where she was standing at least. Played up over. Tipped up. Can it be kept alive? Nice effort there by Chenard to keep it alive, but it falls, and the Vikings put together a string of points. 17-5. Nice serve over by the Vikes. Played up. Hollingshed, nice play over. Winthrop's number 5, bumped over. Betancourt, cross court. Both teams taking their time. Kept alive, nice by Bania. One of those names I've been mispronouncing for the last 2 games I've announced. Thank you to Coach Keene for getting the pronunciation to me. Played up, kept alive. Betancourt. Over. Still alive. Pace of play not changing at all. Betancourt serves it up. And at long last, it bounces off the Vikings, and it's 18-5. So in between the first and second matches, or sets, excuse me, I will briefly run down some of the rivalry between the Tanner Athletic Program and the Vikings Athletic Program. Tanner's keeping it alive. Betancourt, very patient. When the Vikings can get, when the Vikes, and speaking of the Vikes, 18-6. One thing I've noticed about the Vikings so far throughout this match is they're not necessarily, they're, you know, if they're the majority of the points they've given up so far are balls that have bounced off of them. Not necessarily bad serves, unlike that one just now. It's 19-6. They're very patient, very calm. They take their time, and it's just maybe, it's a very sound style of play, but maybe try to kick it up a notch, play with a little bit more of a sense of urgency, kind of play like you're walking on coals, I guess. And I'm expecting right now it'll be much more competitive second match. And a much closer game, excuse me. 19-6, and it goes out 20-6. The Winthrop Athletic Program fielding very competitive teams. As this serve goes into the net, 20-7. The Viking program fielding some very, very competitive teams from what I've seen in the past few years. I've been working here for PBD TV since my senior year of high school in 2017-18. And I've seen some of the games that I put up there as probably the best games that I've been to were Peabody Winthrop games. So as nice play by the Tanners, 21-7, they're 4 points away. Yeah, some of the best matchups that I've seen, regardless of sport, have been between the Tanners and the Vikings in the past few years. Betancourt. Nice play, keeping it over. Nice play. The play at the corner of the net by, once I get her number, I believe that is number 17, Abby Betancourt. Or excuse me, that's Destiny Callisto. The play of Callisto at the side of the net has been absolutely outstanding. Nice spike to play at home, kept alive. Tanners have to stay on their toes with this team. And nice corner hit. Callisto from one side of the net, hitting it all the way across the court. Catching the Vikings off guard. 22-7. Over. Hollingshed plays it up. Rushes out of the way. She can't double touch. Betancourt. Nice gentle bump over by Chenard. 3 of the Vikings. Nice hard hit. Was going for the kill there. However, 23-7 as it goes out of bounds. Tanners are 2 points away from taking the first set of this game in a best-of-5 game. One-handed hit over by Sarah Broughton. Or excuse me, that is actually Maria Chenard. It's kind of hard to tell the numbers from up here, or at least hard to tell some of the single-digit numbers. 24-7, Tanners going for the win on this serve. Hollingshed. They've covered 2 games this season, and Hollingshed is one of their better servers. Goes for the kill early, and Betancourt, nice effort on the diving play, but it goes out of bounds. It's 24-8, so the Tanners will have to wait a little bit longer, barring a comeback of Herculean effort. Nice hard serve, and Tanners trying to keep it alive. Nice play by Betancourt, keeping the game alive. 5 serves it over. Chenard, and official whistle blows. It's 24-9. A Winthrop mistake here means the Tanners will take the match. A Tanner mistake means Winthrop stays alive for just a little bit longer. Ain't over till it's over. Barely goes out of bounds, and that's the first match. 25-9. Tanners leading. So as we go to the first intermission in between the first 2 matches, Tanners dominating play in that first game. 25-9 the final score, but a little Bernie history lesson about the history of the Tanner and Viking athletic program rivalry. Ladies and gentlemen, when I say it extends to every sport, I'm not exactly exaggerating, whether it's on the football field or the ice hockey rink, which are really the 2 that I've seen in the past few years. To recap, this past season, the Vikings were supposed to take on the Peabody Tanners here at Coley Lee Field on opening night for football. However, the game was postponed due to what I can only assume was a COVID exposure. The Vikings ever since then have been rolling, or at least from what I've seen from the Instagram highlights. I do video editing myself, and I kind of have there's a guy who I know who does his video editing, Brando II. Go check him out on Instagram, folks. He's been working with Winthrop all this season. I've seen the Duke Doherty highlights, and the kid impresses me, to say the least. And if you want to talk about a quarterback matchup that I would have loved to see, I would have loved to see Doherty taking on Shay Lynch of the Peabody Tanners, their sophomore phenom. But we'll see what that rivalry brings in the future as the Tanners retake the court at least. We're also going to get in quickly to the ice hockey rivalry. There were a total of 3 games, I believe, played between the Tanners men's and women's hockey team as they took on the Vikings this season, twice for the girls and once for the men's. I believe it was early in the season. The Tanners were down 4-1 at Larson Arena in Winthrop. They came back and made it in a third period comeback for a 4-4 tie, which was their first point on their record that season. As on the serve is number 5 for Winthrop. They get their first chance to open the match. Played up. Now the other Betancourt, Isabel's on the court, number 13. So it looks like Keene shifting or rotating the sisters in and out of the lineup. Because per usual, from what I've seen, she has played both of them at the same time for the majority of their matches. However, she is now currently putting one of them out on the court at a time. And did she touch it? And a little indecision between the officials. I think they both disagreed with each other there, but it's 1-0 Vikings. They have the lead first. And barely goes out. Tanner ball, 1-1. So, and the rivalry between the women's hockey teams at these two schools is one that I can say is probably one of the best that I've seen in all of Massachusetts high school athletics. On the serve, nice hard serve, nice serve by Betancourt. Hard serve, and 18 of Winthrop had no chance to play it. Or excuse me, that was 12 of Winthrop who had no chance to play it. Betancourt. Overhand jump serve, and they thought about playing it for a second there, but they let it go out. It's 2-2. This past season in the hockey season, the Vikings and Tanner splitting the season series, 1 game each. The Vikings winning early in the season in game number 3. They won 3-1 on Tanner ice. However, after a COVID layoff, 10-day layoff with no practice, the Tanners walked into Larson Arena and beat the Vikings 3-2 on their ice. And what can be considered potentially the defining moment of the season, as this one lands in bounds. It's 3-2. So, as I predicted late in the first match, it is a much closer game this match than it was in the first one, because you make those adjustments, and this one's kept alive by Lauren Mendonca. And can't keep it off the court. Had it for a moment, was number 3 of Winthrop. Lets it fall to the court. So I've covered my fair share of Peabody Winthrop games for Peabody TV in the past few years, or freelance for myself on behalf of the team. For some of the viewers at home, I know how, let's say, popular I am with some Winthrop fans. But I will give them credit where it is due. They have outstanding athletic programs. The team that I'm most linked with here is the women's hockey team. Earlier this season, when the Vikings came to Peabody to play the Tanners, had a chance meeting with Coach Butch Martucci of the Vikings, and he complimented me on my video editing, that kind of stuff. As this one falls and double touched by Winthrop, it's 5-3. And, class act kind of guy, and I got to give it to him as class act and as a coach, because he took a rough and tumble team that they were in 2019-20, and from what I saw of them this season, he has molded this rough tumble bunch into a formidable team. And the same can be said for every Winthrop team here. Their coaches are doing an outstanding job in any sport, as it is 5-4. Tanner's leading, as Bernie's history lesson of the Tanner Viking athletic rivalry has come to an end. Class is dismissed, ladies and gentlemen. So we return you to the court, kept alive by the Tanners. Betancourt. Nice play by that was Destiny Callisto, number 11. What the Tanners are really doing, what I'm seeing the trend here, they're cycling the ball to the corner of the net where Callisto can spike it home. She has a hard hit. The Vikings just can't answer in rapid succession. A little indecision on who's going to be on the serve. But Maggie Brennan going back on the serve for the Tanners. Was checking into the court. Can't see the number quite well from here. I believe Michaela Alperin has checked in. Maggie Banya has checked in. Nice overhand serve by the Vikings. Betancourt to Callisto. Touch the line. Even from up here, that might have been a little too close to call. That may have landed it out of bounds. It should have been Viking point there. I'm hard-pressed to say. However, as the officials call it for the Tanners, it's 7-5. Could that be a turning point in this game? And ball goes over the net, not under, as the desperation attempt by Mendonca to play it over goes under, and it is 7-6. It is a far cry from what we saw in the first set, where it was 17 to about 3 early, like midway through the game. It's 7-6 right now. Nice play, but goes out. Michaela Alprin was trying to play it to the side of the court, however, maybe put a little too much on it, and it drifts out. As the overhand serve by 18 of Winthrop hits the net, and it's 8-7. Tanners will get the serve. Man, I would have loved to see that quarterback matchup in week 1 between the Tanners and Vikings. Doherty versus Lynch. Ooh. Pair of quarterbacks with the 2 coolest names in the league, in my opinion, and you know, the established star going to. I've seen the highlight videos, and if I'm not mistaken, Godspeed to Duke Doherty. Going, I believe I saw he's committed to the United States Naval Academy to play football. I tip my hat to you, sir. And the up-and-comer Shay Lynch, Lucky Lynch for the Tanners, as he's kind of the sophomore phenom, as the Vikings have retaken the lead. It's 9-8 on the mistake by, I believe that is that a 15? Or nope, sorry, that's a 35. I couldn't quite see the full number on the back of the jersey at the time. I thought there was a 15, and I'm like, there's no 15 on my roster. I try to keep this commentary entertaining, folks. Never said I was great at it, but I try to keep it entertaining as it goes out of bounds, and it's tied up at 9. One team gets an edge, and next thing you know, the other team gets back into it just as easily. As we are high above courtside. The perfect bird's eye view of the court. Best view in the house up here of the game, as I don't know if it's legal to kick it up with your foot and try to keep it alive. However, I got to applaud the effort of number 3 of Winthrop to attempt to do so. It's 10-9. Tanner's back in the lead. However, if this match has been any indication, they might not retain it for long, as it might be tied pretty quickly, and Winthrop might go up as well. Check what I just said. 11-9, Tanner's leading. The effort by Winthrop is there. I have seen it. They're diving, they're sacrificing the body. As this one hits the court, it's 12-9. Tanner's maybe beginning to pull away with this one. Nice play to keep it up. Over. Betancourt. Corner, Alprin plays it. Nice defensive play by the Vikes. Now they go on the attack. Betancourt. Alprin. Nice play to keep it alive, and they were going to let it go, but I think it might have been double touched by a Tanner. A pair of substitutions will be made as Broden and Ali Flewelling check in. Michaela Alprin checks out, and Flewelling checking in for Chrissy Cardello. And nice play by the Vikes to play it perfectly into the corner. Just barely staying in bounds. It's 12-11. A dogfight till the very end. Hard play, and it might have gone out of bounds had Ada Winthrop not played it. However, she touches it. It's 13-11. Nice play at the net by number 5 of Winthrop. There's one player on the court for Winthrop that I would pick as an early nominee for player of the game as the official blows his whistle. It's 14-11 Tanners. Player that I'd pick as my early nominee for the visiting team player of the game has to be number 5 of Winthrop. She has been a presence all over the court. Trying to get into the habit of, instead of picking one player of the whole game, I'll pick one player as player of the game for both teams. As 18 of Winthrop checks out and 17 comes in as her substitution. Back on the serve is number 3. Nice serve over, and barely goes out. It's a Tanner point, 15-12. And little indecision maybe between 5 and 3 about who was going to take that one, because one of them looks like she was going to bump it and kind of pulled up at the last possible second. Goes out of bounds, and it is 16-12. 8-5-3. It clears the net and falls perfectly placed between that is Mendonca and Callisto. Neither could get there in time. Now, I'm a hockey announcer for the most part, folks. Volleyball is not exactly my specialty, doing my absolute best. And yeah, it looks like Flewelling was going for the kill right there, but maybe swung the arm a little bit too early as it kind of bounced off the tips of her fingers. Atones for that mess up by serving it up for her teammate Betancourt, and it will be Viking point. Not exactly too clear on the rules, so I'll just have to go with what the officials are saying. I can't be one of those guys who goes, "Oh, ref, what was that?" Because, well, I don't really know what constitutes a whistle in this game except when the ball goes out of bounds or hits the court. My ever self-deprecating commentary continues for the past 4 years. Nice play by Flewelling. What a hit. Gentle bump over, perfectly placed by Betancourt. (17-5), and we'll get another Tanner substitution. As checking in is Maggie Brennan, and checking out is Meg Price, number 34. Brennan on the serve. A little strategy to this move, as Brennan has been one of their best servers whenever they get the ball in her hands. And nice put down by Betancourt. Betancourt plays it up. Flewelling for the kill, and she's got one of the hardest hits in the game. But a little too much on it. It goes out of bounds, 18-16. Very close game until the final serve. And unable to keep it off the court was Flewelling and Mendonca. It goes out of bounds, and it is 18-17. That's one thing I respect about Winthrop athletics. You know, I think it's something that every athlete for that program knows. Even if you're down big, as this one by Flewelling goes into the net, 18-18. One thing I respect about him is even if you're down big or if it's a one-point game, it ain't over till the final buzzer goes. It's played up, kept alive. Nice play to keep it alive. Betancourt plays it over. Great play by the Tanners to keep this game alive. Flewelling plays it up. Betancourt to Betancourt. It stayed, and from this view up here, it looks like it may have gone over the line and out of bounds. So, but in any case, it's 19-18. The Tanners will get the serve. You know, the party ain't over till the party's over for the Winthrop Vikings. And it's 20-18. Tanner's now leading. They'll get the serve. That trait also is a characteristic of the Tanners. And over till it's over mentality, no matter what the score is. And 9 of Winthrop was not expecting it to come at her with such speed. Kind of plays it off the chest, and it falls harmlessly to the court. It's 21-18. And nice attempt by 8 of Winthrop, but it goes off her arms and into the background screen behind the court. Abby Betancourt on the serve. And it goes out of bounds on her serve. It's 22-19. So the Vikes with a golden chance to close the lead. It's 22-19. Tanner's up by 3, easily within the grasp of the Vikings. Ooh, kept alive, and it was a great way to keep it alive by 9 of Winthrop, but it goes out of bounds. It's 23-19. Tanners are 2 points away. Vikes need 4 to tie, 6 to win. Kept alive, and it's still alive, played off the net. Banya plays it up for Betancourt to the corner, Broughton. And double touched by 7 of Winthrop. Tanners are 1 point away. From the field house at Peabody Veterans Memorial High School. Once again, this game being brought to you live by Peabody TV. Backtracking a little bit was 18 of Winthrop to keep it alive. And just as the first match ended, Winthrop hits it out of bounds and 25-19. And just as I predicted, as would be the trend in this game, very much closer matchup than we saw in the first one, so don't expect the third matchup to be, well, even closer. So we're going to step away for a couple minutes as the teams confer at their benches, and we'll be right back with more game time coverage on Peabody TV. Welcome back to the field house at Coley Lee, Coley Lee is the football field. Welcome back to the field house at Peabody Veterans Memorial High School. Bernie Parisi with Peabody TV bringing you live game time coverage of the Tanners and the Vikings as they take each other on in a little friendly game of volleyball. Tanners leading this game 2-0, looking to go for the win in this match. First match was very one-sided in Peabody's favor. However, the Vikings fought back with a ferocity that is characteristic of Winthrop athletic teams and kept it alive as I'm going to assume that there's some kind of an inside joke. Everyone cheered the official as he came back, so as on the serve, and immediately Brennan serves it in the net, and the Vikings are up 1. So what could be the final, but surely the most pivotal match coming up. Vikings up 1-0. One-sided affair in game 1. Game 2 was a much back and forth. One team had the lead, then before you could blink, the other team had the lead back again. And little mental lapse maybe by number 5. of the Vikings as the official signals for Peabody, and it's 1-1. Nice serve by Abby Betancourt. I keep getting the two of them confused on the court. Which one's Abby, which one's Isabel? Abby's 17, Isabel's 13. Got to remember that, Byrne. Come on. Played up. Winthrop doing everything they can to keep it alive, and they're doing it very well, very patiently. And comes down, and it's Viking point. Number 8 checks out, 7 comes in her spot. 9 looks like she's going to go back for the serve. Thought she was checking out of the game for a moment. However, she will be on the serve. And tipped the net. Took a little bit off of it, so I think what happened was Samantha Silva misjudged it. Nice overhand serve. Banya keeps it alive. Betancourt, cross court. Nice way to get it over. Vikings keeping it alive. Good communication to say, I got it. Nice. Over. Vikings. 3. Hard hit over. Falls to the court. Miscommunication between the Tanners as to who was going to go for it. Between Lily Ryan, number 16, is on the court. I believe that was Sam Silva who had the diving effort to try to keep it alive. So Coach Keene putting some faces out on the court that we haven't seen in the previous 2 games, Lily Ryan being one of them. The ever-present Sophia Hollingshed at the front of the net, dives, nice play to keep it up. Speaking of Hollingshed. And diving effort by Betancourt to keep it alive, however, goes towards the Tanner bench. It's 5-1, Vikings leading. Shout out to the seniors of the Peabody Veterans Memorial High School volleyball team, Maggie Banya, Maggie Brennan, Destiny Callisto, Maria Chenard, Sophia and Thelma Hollingshed, Lily Ryan, and Sam Silva for their 4 years of commitment to the Peabody High School athletic program. Nice way to play it over. It's 5-2. Vikings leading. Betancourt plays it up. And 3 of Winthrop keeping it alive. Back across the court, 5-9. And if this were baseball, that'd be a home run because it went that far as it goes out of bounds. Aren't I so entertaining? Ha-ha. Betancourt plays it over, and yeah, I can assume that probably playing it with the foot is legal because 3 just tried to do it again. Applaud the effort, but it falls to the court, and the Tanners are closing the gap. It is 5-4, Viking lead. For the Tanner fans, you'll probably have to hear my voice at least one more time this season, I believe, as we near the conclusion of what can only be described as an unusual athletic season, to say the least. And it goes out of bounds, and it's Tanner ball. They've tied it up at 5. They come back from down 5-1. Nice play over. One hand to keep it alive. Surprised was number 5, Betancourt, plays it up, cross court. Tanners doing everything they can to keep it alive. Nice play by Winthrop. Last second desperation save, and did that go off her head? I hope that 9 of Winthrop is all right. I think that one was played off of the side of her head. She is all right. She's staying on the court. And nice defensive play at the net. Number 7 of Winthrop falls down. It's 6-6. We're going to get a substitution. Chenard's going to check in, and checking out is Lily Ryan. Betancourt keeps it alive. Nice play, and stays in bounds, and it goes out. Tanner Point. It's 7-6. So yet another close matchup. However, it started out, Vikings were the dominators in this game. They kept it alive, and unable to get there is 9 of Winthrop. It goes out. It's 8-6. Starting to tip towards the Tanners are the scales. Nice diving play by 12 of Winthrop to keep it alive, but it falls out of bounds. Number 12 of the Vikings with a sensational play. It was all for naught. Tips the top of the net, falls down, took a little bit off of it as 3 on the diving effort couldn't keep it alive. It's Tanner Point, 10-6. Nice play by the Tanners. Hollingshed with the diving save. That was played over the net by Betancourt. And barely goes out of bounds after that sensational defensive effort by the Tanners. All for naught. 10-7. Vikings on the serve. As we have a player checking in, another one checking out. 18 comes in, 17 comes out for the Vikes. Hollingshed, great play to keep it off the court, but no one was there to bump it over. It's 10-8. 2-point game. Tanners are leading. Over. Hollingshed. And Hollingshed, maybe a little miscommunication. I think she took a little off of it because she bumped into her teammate Silva. Betancourt, gentle bump over, trying to catch the defense off guard. Kept alive by the Tanners. And if you want to take a guess, it was Betancourt who kept it alive. Goes out of bounds. It's 10-10. We are tied again. Vikings, nice play. Oh, if it might have gone out of bounds if no one played it, but they bumped it a little too far for anyone to go get it. Vikings leading 11-10. We hope you're enjoying this single camera setup production, this live stream of this game. We promised we would try to live stream as many games as we could here at Peabody High School due to the current circumstances. However, there's obviously the light in the future, and nice hit by Betancourt, but goes out of bounds. It's 12-10 Vikings. With the vaccines rolling out currently and restrictions beginning to slowly but surely be relaxed throughout the nation, we hope that sooner rather than later, as this serve goes into the net, we hope sooner rather than later we can return to more of a sense of normalcy, and hopefully everyone listening in at home will have a chance to go down to the football field, the baseball diamonds, the hockey rink, or the basketball court and enjoy the games that they love. And great way to hold up by number 12. I held my breath there for a second. She went over to play it. It went up in the air, but she held up just in time before she tripped and fell face first into the stands. So narrowly avoiding disaster there. Off the chest of number 12. She keeps it alive and just comes right back to her and puts it over the net. Betancourt to the corner. And can the Vikes keep it alive? Swinging the arms and falling down, missing it. Was 18 of Winthrop. It's 13-12. Tanners leading by 1. little too much on this one by the serve by Cardello. Goes out of bounds, and we are knotted at 13 again. Winthrop serve. Betancourt. Hard serve. Nice play by the Tanners. Perfectly placed. Bounces off the tip of the fingers of a Winthrop player, and it's 14-13. Back on the serve is Sarah Broughton, number 5. Nice serve, perfectly placed. Towards the backcourt. Played over and a little too far for Broughton to reach out and get it. And just as quickly as the lead changed in the Tanners' favor, it is knotted up at 14 again. Perfectly placed ball by the Vikes. Kept alive, 9. And a little hesitation by 17 of Winthrop, but she still keeps it alive. Flewelling gently to the backcourt, 8 from 5. Hollingshed keeping it alive again. Corner gently bumped over, trying to catch the Vikings off guard. 18, one-handed hit over. Unbelievable action again. Could this be one of those sets where it goes on for seemingly forever? No, it falls on the Tanner side. Vikings recapture the lead. I think Coach Keene is holding her breath for the past 10-15 minutes right now. She's probably set the world record for the longest breath held with the way that this game is going. Falls to the court, and we are tied again. Back for the serve is Maggie Brennan. And the Vikes are about to play it, but it falls out of bounds at the last possible second. They held up, and 16-15, Winthrop lead. If I was in the head of Lisa Keene right now, I don't quite know what I would if I would use a timeout right now or not, considering the way that this game is so back and forth. You can use the timeout and try to strategize a little bit and kind of come up with a little movement to get things going in your favor, as perfectly placed by Flewelling. 16-16. Or do you let the play continue, hoping that you be the last one standing when the score hits 25? But on the second thought, she might, don't use a timeout right now, considering you have a 2-0 lead in this match, as this one on the hard hit goes out of bounds. With a 2-0 lead, probably not panicking too much, trusting her girls to try to pull this one out for the blue and white. Or the Tanner blue and white. I'm realizing both teams are wearing a form of blue and white. Vikings have gold too. Gotta remember that, as for 4 years here. Nice perfect placement by one of the Betancourts, Isabel. Yeah, told growing up in the Peabody public school system, you're told, no, it's not blue, it's Tanner blue. The pride of the athletic program it has in its athletes. I would say possibly unmatched by most programs in the North Shore, specifically in the NEC. Peabody fans and parents, administrators, they all take great pride in being associated with the Peabody High athletic program. Nice play. Bania didn't quite play it well, but Hollingshed kept it alive. It served over, and the Vikes are up 19-17. And we have another substitution as Flewelling will check out, and coming in for her is Michaela Alpern, number 12. Bania deliberates on whether to go for a one-handed bump or the two-handed bump. As this one comes down, it is Broughton who couldn't put it over. And now, with the scale tipping in Winthrop's favor, Keene is going to use a timeout. So with 55 seconds to go on the timeout, would love to be in this huddle right now trying to figure out how they're going to try to strategize to get back in this one. The Tanners are being pushed to the brink. You know, early on, first match, it was domination on one side of the net. Second match, it was close, and the third match is, well, the scales have been tipped heavily in Winthrop's favor. You know, it's an old saying that I heard in sports once. First we knocked on the doors. Next, we pounded on the door, and the third one, we kicked the. Well, I'm going to abbreviate here. We kicked the thing in. That's the mentality I think the Vikings are going with right now. Up by 3 in the third set. We knew before this one, this was the pivotal game for the Vikings. If they wanted a hope and a prayer of coming out of here with a victory, they'll have to, if they come out of this with a victory, they'll have to win in match number 4 to force a deciding winner-take-all game 5. And they thought it was going to go over the net. It did not. Falls on their side. It's 20-18. Now the Tanners with, I would say, the most important serve of the game. Hollingshed, middle of the court, and goes out of bounds. The lead is cut down to 1. 20-19. Vikings leading, but the Tanners knocking on the door. Strength of their resolve being put to the test. Corner to the other corner of the court. 7 plays it over. Hollingshed and plays it too far for Isabel Betancourt. It's 21-19. Viking lead as 18 comes in for Winthrop and 17 comes out. 2-point lead to work with. And the serve is played into the net, 21-20. So now this is the most important serve of the game for the Tanners. Back on the serve is Isabel Betancourt, sister of number 17, Abby. Nice serve. She has been bedeviled, or at least one of the Betancourts has been bedeviled tonight by some hard serves that went out of bounds. However, that is not the case now, but speaking out of bounds, that's where the ball is going to find its way. Vikings 22, Tanners 20, 3 points away. Tanners backs to the firing wall. You get the sense with the way this is going right now that if they force a game 4, how will the Tanners answer in game number 4, considering the scales have been tipped heavily in the Viking favor? Oh, and legally played by Betancourt. Broughton at the corner, hits the court! Sarah Broughton perfectly placed. 22-21, Tanner serve coming up. Broughton responsible for the last point for the Tanners. One-handed bump, keeping it alive, and can't bump it over. We are tied again. 22-22. Both teams need 3 points to win. And 8 of Winthrop kept alive. Hearts pounding on both benches and in the stands, and I'm sure for some of the viewers at home. Betancourt cross court and double touched. Now, I think that might have been double touched by the Vikes. Falls barely out of bounds. Great discipline by Hollingshed, letting it fall. So I think the officials letting Winthrop get away with one there. However, it doesn't matter in the end for the Tanners. They'll take the point when they can get it. 23-22. Nice hard line drive serve, barely cleared the net. Cross court to 5. Hollingshed. A little hesitation from Winthrop as they were going for the kill. And nice play to keep it alive. Diving play by Betancourt. Gently bumped over. Betancourt to Betancourt. Hard play. 8 of Winthrop keeping it alive. Over. Hollingshed keeping it alive. Great play by the Tanners. Hollingshed sacrificing the body for the sake of the team. The most intense matchup, man. Hesitation by 5 of Winthrop, lets it fall. She bumped it at the last possible moment, but too low to get it over the net. Most important point here, 24 Tanners, Vikings 22. And goes out of bounds. Tanners win it in 3. So the Tanners, what a heart-stopping 3 matchups that was. Tanners dominating game 1. Game 2 was much closer than I'm sure most fans of the Tanners would like. But then game number 3, that signified the strength of the resolve of the Winthrop Vikings. As they pushed the Tanners to their limit, they kept retaking the lead, but the Tanners, ever resilient, a trait of the Tanner athletic program, taking the win at the last possible moment, 25-22. So with that being said, I'm Bernard Parisi with PBD TV. Thank you for tuning in. I don't know when the next game will be streaming live is, but I'm sure you'll find out on our website, also on YouTube. I'm sure you can find out on our website, pbdaccess.org, and PBD TV YouTube page, so you can go watch all of our previous games from this season on there. And for future reference, I believe our volleyball games, I've been meaning to say this, are streamed on the website under Educational, so that's where you'll be able to find most athletic games. So long from the Fieldhouse at Peabody High School. I'm Bernard Parisi, and we'll see you next time with more women's volleyball action brought to you live by PBD TV.